reminded at 22 minutes through the last recording about Todd and the restaurant man and the Muslim, that my view is that people, not some amalgamation of such, families, tribes, groups, nations, religions, denominations, cities, stellar systems, galaxies, the universe as a whole, they don't have souls from my point of view. I suppose because I can't see what their pain is. I can see the individuals in it suffering concern, for instance, about decline, or not suffering concern really, and just letting the decline happen. In the case of, say, a religion or ethnic group, the individuals may feel they've moved on, and the guild or whatever it was just becomes a historic curiosity of literature, the past. Is the planet actually a being that has a soul? I've not enough experience or evidence or consciousness of such to say yes, it has. And so in the absence of such, I'm assuming no, it doesn't. This may be heavily coloured by the fact that my religions that I've been affected by are person-orientated, or at least life-orientated, in the form that we recognise it on Earth rather than the Earth itself. You get something like Theosophy and New Age, which has embraced something rather further, which is that the planet has a soul and a karma and all that sort of thing. But possibly that's not deeply instilled in my being. It's not something that I therefore assent to trust in. Having said that, my view that God, if you like, probably from my perspective, or hopefully, created all things. Not that I want him to have begun from such a lonely position, but if that is the case, then I can certainly embrace the notion that perhaps they are souls in similar ways to ourselves, or not, different in some way, but still to be appreciated, you see, because God's made it. So I don't want to harm a tree. I sort of see it as some sort of equivalent life. I don't want to harm the planet. I want it to appear to, what I understand it, for it to prosper and, if you like, be green, not parched, turned into desert or frozen tundra. I want it to prosper in the sense that I see its prosperity as. And I don't like theories about stars dying ultimately, galaxies turning to, lifeless, energyless corpses in the universe of space. Nor do I like stories of the end of time where the whole universe is wound down and there's if you like, some equal spread of energy across it such that all movement and life and creativity is gone. I certainly don't like that. I'm a living being that values living and life. But I don't yet, if you like, embrace the notion that groups or societies get to heaven, nations are favoured in some way. I think God loves all this creation. It's possible that all atoms have life in them and are valued in that way by God, in which case I would want to value it likewise. But I don't know, and I don't have teaching or experience at that level, so I just don't know. Do you see? But I do have the view that patriotism is suspect in that it sees the nation as an entity in itself that demands to be treated as a person rather than an environment that might well need to be cared for. But and I'm not protecting a way of life simply because it exists or has existed, but because it is still of value to those souls that live in it and are affected by it. It's that which is important. Is it of advantage and blessing to them, or should things be changed? I'm not worshipping the society and culture in itself. The fact that it has been is not that it should continue, or continue in the same form. But then equally I'm not clear that I should continue in the same form, because I'm pretty clear I have a long way to go yet, you know, I don't mean to give some false humility here, but in some sense, you know, life always has a greater fullness ahead of it. And I see that for God too, which possibly is an unusual sort of belief, that he as a person of persons also has an eternal greatness before him, ever greater and greater, in whatever dimension that's relevant, you know? Yeah. And perhaps all creation has, every atom. And I could appreciate that, if that is the case. And whether it is or isn't doesn't seem to much affect how I'm to live at the moment, because I'm not at that level of sensitivity or ability and power and resources. I'm still at the level where I'm extending my welfare consideration to plants. I don't like to see a tree cut down. It's a shame to kill a plant. I'm unhappy about cutting bits off the plant. I was always unhappy about picking flowers, but, well, I say always, probably not as a child, I'm not sure. No, I think I picked the daffodils quite happily. For Mum, you know, put them in a vase. Thank you, Evan.